a business? Do you own an asset? If the answer is yes, you are in the right place to learn about asset replacement decisions. Most business people make mistakes that cost them financially because they are not able to know at what point do we replace the non-current assets. Sometimes they may replace these non-current assets too early before they have maximized their returns, reducing their profits. Or they may replace these non-current assets too late, so that it is now loss-making. So we shall have non-current assets into two categories. We have biological assets. These are what we call the live assets. Things like dairy cows, dairy goats. We have pigs. At what point do you replace this? We have machine assets. Things like plant, motor vehicles, equipment. Allow me to discuss first the machine assets. For machine assets, we shall ask ourselves, the replacement will come in two stages. If you replace them at the initial stage, in the initial stage, the revenue that they are generating is high. The maintenance cost is low. The fuel or energy consumption is low. The replacement cost, should you sell it, is high. The replacement, not the replacement cost, the replacement income. For these ones, I'll give you an example. Very common one, matatus. You know the most prominent matatu brands. We have the likes of 2NK, we have Molo Line, we have North Rift. When that vehicle, let's say KDS 362W, when that vehicle is bought, I will use Nakuru because this is the place I'm most familiar with. Nakuru Nairobi route, fare ranges from 700 to 1,000. So for a 14-seater matatu, it can raise revenue up to 14,000. It can raise between 10 to 14,000 in terms of revenue for simplicity. That matatu can go in the morning Nairobi, over lunch hour it comes to Nakuru, and in the evening at 6 it takes its last trip to Nairobi. That's up to 42,000. This vehicle, because it is new, maintenance cost is quite low. There is no replacement of its spare parts and so on. Fuel consumption, the engine is perfect, almost perfect. And if you sell that matatu, you'll still get money. But is that the right time to replace that matatu? We shall learn. This matatu will stay in Molo Line business, ply Nakuru Nairobi route, not forever, maybe at most 4 years. And then the Sacco owners will tell the matatu owner, hey, your matatu is too old to be plying on this route. Replace it. Now, it can be taken to a shorter distance, maybe 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers from Nakuru. At that point, the spare parts starts getting old. So replacement. Fuel consumption starts increasing. Revenue, a 50-kilometer journey, you may find they are charging 100 to 200 shillings. So 100 shillings for a 14-seater matatu, it will generate 1400 if it is 100 shillings to 2100. This is not as good as it was generating up to 14,000. Replacement value, it has lost value, so you will sell it not very good. This matatu, we may take it to the later stages when it is quite old. You now downgrade it to town service. At that point, revenue is low, maintenance cost is high, fuel or energy consumption is high, disposal value is low. I'll give you an example. There is a time I was driving, I think it was around 2012, from an estate in Nakuru going to town. And a matatu had parked wrongly. So in the rush of going to work, I mistook and hit the matatu. Yes, the matatu was on the road, but I was the one who hit it. So the matatu was barely scratched, and my whole vehicle on the left side, from the front door to the back door, was heavily dented. So I asked this matatu, when the accident took place, all the passengers in that matatu moved to another matatu. So I asked this matatu person, now that this has happened, what is the compensation that I should make? You know, he told me, you have made me miss a squad. So how much do I pay you? Each person would give me 30 bob. So 14 times 30, 420 shillings. Imagine I made somebody Nakuru Nairobi route miss a squad. If it was the time it was being charged at 1,000, I would pay up to 14,000 just because of missing a squad. And this matatu that I hit, it was at the peak hours, maybe between 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then 6 p.m. to 5 p.m. to around 8:30 p.m. Those are the peak hours. How much can these 420, how many times will it take to accumulate to the 14,000? So you need to know when is the right time to replace it. We said we have two assets here. So the same example can be used. If you have computers, you don't wait until they hang. If you have typewriters, if you have machines, you don't wait until they are not able to do anything. There is the right time to replace them. The next asset that we shall talk about are biological assets. And allow me to give example using dairy cows, because these are the ones I'm quite familiar with. A dairy cow, a female, is a very valued asset. When it gives birth, they normally say that it should give birth every year if you are in business of dairy farming. So within the first 3 months after delivery, that cow should be served so that it is able to give birth. So at what point should you sell this cow? At what point? Remember, this cow has growth cycle. Birth, a peak, and then it goes down. At what point should you sell this cow? Is it after the first calving, second calving, third calving, fourth calving, fifth? Or do you wait until this cow has no teeth to dispose it? Now, research has shown that a cow matures at its third calving. That is when it is biggest in terms of size. That is when it produces milk most. Remember, the first and second calving, the cow is still growing. And if it is growing, it means that some of the energy, some of the food that it is consuming, it is not channeling it to milk. Some of it is maybe making its bones bigger and so on. So the first and second calving, if you dare sell that cow, you will not have achieved, or you will not have optimized that cow. From the third or the fourth calving, that is the time that cow is at its optimum. It has grown to maturity. Its milk system is perfect. It is still fertile enough. It can be able to be delivering every year. But you go to fifth, sixth calving, the fertility rate reduces. Diseases start affecting that cow. You know, it is now old. It starts losing its immunity. So, from dairy farming perspective, either the third or fourth calving, as a business person, is the best time to dispose of that cow. You will still, the person who will buy will still make some money. In terms of milk, it is still attractive. So, asset replacement, we shall ask ourselves two questions. The replacement that you are making, is it identical replacement? Identical replacement, we talk about, you are selling a dairy cow to buy another dairy cow. You are selling a matatu to buy another matatu. If it's identical replacement, we use what we call annuity equivalent NPV. This is something that we shall learn later. At what is the NPV that you are generating per annum? If it is non-identical replacement, take for example, you want to clear your dairy herd and replace them with pigs. You are selling this asset, getting another one. That one you wait, you normally check the NPV and ask yourself, when is the NPV highest? Remember, this dairy cow, if you sell it at the third calving, it will still fetch good money in terms of the disposal value. It is still giving good income because it is at its maximum, and that cow is still healthy. So we shall continue from this. Let's keep on learning about financial literacy simplified. The next session, we may learn about NPV. NPV is quite deep in finance, so I don't want to get so much into details about NPV and annuity equivalent NPV, but we shall try to simplify it. Wish you well. See you next time.